scratch. Is there anything that you would do differently? Yes, I would ask people to tell the truth.
That's fine, I'll go it alone. Just like Meghan Markle and Prince Harry.
I feel like the focus is starting to shift off of me. Maybe in editing you'll fix it.
Babe, time to do our daily $250,000 sponsored Instagram post for Del Taco.
I shouldn't have left the made-up nonsense.
Shocking lights blasted the studio as Meghan strode in, dressed to rule the scene. Gasps rose when the Duchess flung the first stone at every critic in sight. Yes, I would ask people to tell the truth, thundered from her lips, and the mood flipped from polite to poisonous. Eyes locked on her cool grin, sensing an icy plan to crush every doubter in one blow. Each sentence dripped with a smug calm that sparked fury across Royal Watch feeds. "A lie can't live forever," echoed through cameras, sounding less like hope and more like threat. Viewers saw a queen of grudges promising daylight for secret files, while haters typed with shaking rage. The villain turn had begun, and silence vanished quicker than steam over boiling jam.
I don't feel imposter syndrome. I feel like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be right now.
This might be the smallest palace I've ever been in.
An apartment.
I thought we were moving forward, Meghan.
Well, we're not.
Next came a laugh that froze hearts. "The only thing I want spread thin is my jam," shot out like a dagger dressed in sugar. Critics recoiled at the joke, branding it cruel in the middle of public pain. Social timelines exploded, accusing the Duchess of mocking honest workers who chased rent night after night. Jam jars morphed into dark symbols of tone-deaf greed, and every meme painted Meghan as a giggling tyrant stirring fruit while virtue burned.
The only thing I want spread thin is my jam. Okay?
Build electric cars, he's going to Mars. Why is he even involving himself with Twitter? It would be like if the Prince of England gave it all up just to marry an actor from Suits.
Sneers grew louder when she bragged. "I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be right now." Fans melted, but doubters heard pure arrogance sparkling inside every vowel. A queen without a crown stood tall, daring the world to move her throne an inch. The host tried a gentle path with talk of failure rates for new brands. Cold confidence sliced the air when Meghan shrugged at the warning. "No thought about failing," came in velvet voice, yet the chill felt sharp enough to cut steel. Bankers whispered that such pride sets traps no planner can escape, yet the Duchess seemed hungry for gamble over caution. Screens filled with charts proving most first launches crash, but her eyes held fire, not fear.
So in leadership, you want everyone to like you?
Yeah, you can't be a people pleaser and a leader.
Well,
So you hate journalists? That's right. And now you wrote a book that reports on the lives of the royal family. Right. So you're a journalist.
Shoppers began to wonder if every purchase only fed a growing empire built on risk unshared with those who buy the jars. Dark suspense crawled up spines as the Duchess grinned at statistics, like a cat at helpless birds. Blame soon landed on media tails, but words turned blades against every rival. Rules on kindness slipped when she hissed about hidden liars lurking in newsrooms. Crowds split between sparks of sympathy and roaring anger at another blame game. Her villain arc thickened with each jab, recasting reporters as villains while claiming sainthood for the palace rebel. Kingdom watchers felt a chill when she spoke of boundaries no question may cross. That single note sounded less like self-care and more like iron bars locking truth outside the gate. Camera crews sensed every bright light dim under that sudden wall, leaving mystery to breed louder rumors. Villain energy grew when Meghan waved off imposter syndrome as a weak worry for lesser souls. Dreamers who battle self-doubt flinched at the slight, calling her a cold queen of confidence with no lens for ordinary pain. Public empathy cracked wider as each brag painted a perfect life far above common ground. Sympathy drained and suspicion rushed in to claim the empty seat. The Duchess leaned back, pleased to see chaos swirl, while critics fumed that every sentence was a chess move on a board only she could read. Thunder rolled in comment sections, shouting that every calm reply was a polished brick in a tower built to rise over all doubters. The host dared to ask about harsh spotlight, but Meghan twirled the lens like a jewel. She spoke of attention as blessing, ignoring bruises carried by smaller founders drowned in shadows of big names. Hushed groans filled comment strings, calling her a power hoarder who loves crowds only when cheers flow in her favor. When remarks about global reach appeared, skeptics called the plan an empire grab masked as homemade love, Each promise of joy tasted like syrup poured over cold steel, sweet yet hiding hard edges sharp enough to wound whole markets. Scenes of homemade jam gifts painted a softer image, but tension refused to melt. Witnesses noted the tale of friends texting, so happy, as a cunning curtain drawn over fierce ambition. Framed by diamonds and cameras, the Duchess sold a fairy tale kitchen, while armies of lawyers and producers worked in shadows. The more gentle words arrived, the louder cynics roared that nothing felt real past the glossy filter. Trust snapped again when she teased new flavors only after sealing a giant streaming deal. Viewers whispered that the farm stand story was just bait, luring hearts before the big brand net dropped. Minutes later, Netflix appeared in bold letters, and thunder struck twice. The Duchess praised the massive machine, yet still called her label a startup in the same breath. Outrage lit screens, mocking claims of humble roots while standing on golden stages funded by global giants. Tweets rained fire, accusing the Duchess of stretching startup until the word lost all meaning. The gap between palace halls and farmers' markets gaped open, and inside that chasm the villain aura glowed even brighter. Conversation turned to wardrobe activism, and suspicion hit boiling point. Meghan bragged about silent messages hidden in clothing when speech felt hard. Critics snapped that designer gowns matched with hidden lectures only proved brand over empathy. Even children's outfits joined the drama when she complained about affiliate links. Anger spiked as parents shouted that privacy talk clashed with public photo ops and streaming cameras. The Duchess nodded at uncomfortable feelings, yet planned more seasons where tiny shoes would shine under bright lights. Crowd fury swelled, believing every tearful note hid another marketing plan. Part 1 ended with storm clouds thick and heavy. The Duchess stood tall, jam jar raised like a trophy, daring the kingdom to fight or kneel. Heroes faded from memory, while a fresh villain stole center stage. Cheering fans held on tight, but thunderous boos rolled through feeds like drums of war. The battle lines were drawn, and a sugary spread became the banner for bold conquest. Spotlights blazed again as sales charts crashed through the screen. Headlines screamed, sold out in 45 minutes, while Meghan's smile widened into a sharp grin. Scarcity whipped hype into a frenzy, and critics barked that empty shelves had been planned all along. Fans scrambled for crumbs, yet the Duchess watched the gold pile rise, promising bigger drops soon. Each promise sounded like mercy, but cynics smelled pure calculation behind every sweet word. Attention turned to money trails lighting the Duchess' path. Brand pitches spoke about value-aligned deals, yet bank wires came from the world's richest stream service. Analysts mapped the flow, finding glittering rivers feeding one throne above the rest. Debate shows erupted, asking if honest jam makers could ever match such power. Scenes of coupon clipping from childhood felt thin as rice paper beside million-dollar contracts. Next, leadership talk painted Meghan as Iron Queen wrapped in silk. Her voice carried zero doubt while speaking about control over every crumb in the bakery. "Sorry, what does that mean?" sat on lips, yet sounded less like curiosity and more like command. Staffers faced an image of a ruler who checked frosting herself before the ovens closed. Crew members whispered that one wrong sprinkle could crash a career before dawn. Rumors flew of tense meetings where every adjective on a newsletter met direct royal review. Fear grew that fearless confidence might spill into ruthless reign over workers too slow to keep pace. Then came the bold vow to ignore outside clocks. "Their urgency is not my urgency," blasted across screens like a trumpet over battlefield dust. Small shop owners scoffed, knowing shipments must land on time or sinking cost. Viewers saw a queen untethered from normal panic about late packages and sad customers. Sneers filled comment rows, warning that arrogance often collides with reality in painful ways. Talk of jam flavors shifted to worldwide conquest. Dreams of berries from distant farms made activists growl about carbon trails. Promises of community uplift felt hollow when spreadsheets revealed vast shipping miles. Crowd chants of tone deaf echoed through digital halls, growing louder by the hour. Each global plan smelled like greed painted pastel, ignoring local farmers buried under big brand weight. Martha Stewart and Gwyneth Paltrow names floated into conversation, and sparks flew again. Meghan smiled at the nod, yet rushed to highlight brand distance from those queens of lifestyle. Observers sensed a quiet jab, as if only one crown could sit atop the shelf, and it must sparkle on her curls. Low murmurs claimed that rivalry sells more jars than any berry can, and Meghan knew it. Every compliment felt laced with hidden knives aimed at older empires. Suddenly, the failure topic resurfaced, and Meghan waved it away like an annoying fly. "No fear of collapse," she purred, as if numbers bend under royal will. Economists grimaced, warning that bravado cannot pay factory wages when storms hit supply chains. Yet the villain aura burned hotter, drawing fuel from doubt itself. Haters poured charts, fans poured love, and the Duchess thrived on both. The host raised social media fame, and Meghan called it freedom regained. Critics scoffed, noting constant filters and star photographers behind each candid post. Every story felt curated like museum art, and the public sensed invisible threads guiding every frame. Selling authenticity while shining under professional lighting looked like a mask more than a mirror. Next, discussion turned to volunteers at school lunches. Sweet Tales painted a caring mother chopping carrots, yet skeptics smelled sugar-coated distractions. For every warm story, there appeared a matching headline about trademark filings and board meetings. Crowd whispers asked if kindness scenes served as soft lace on a steel gauntlet. The divide widened as soft notes and sharp power mixed into one puzzling chord. Part 2 closed under a hail of clashing opinions. Supporters saw a warrior princess conquering with fruit and willpower. Opponents saw a cunning baroness hoarding praise while draining markets. Either way, greed now glimmered through glass jars on shelves and screens, promising a fiery final act. Lightning rolled once more as Meghan framed future plans in grand strokes. A heritage brand promise sounded noble, yet hinted at endless domination. Small rivals trembled at the thought of competing against royal star power for decades. Petitions rose asking regulators to guard farmers from the looming juggernaut. Crowd voices pleaded for balance, yet jam thunder kept rumbling. Power quotes mounted layer upon layer. Respect must outweigh popularity, rang across airwaves like a new decree. Royalists heard secret arrows aimed at monarch rules, fueling more headlines. Management experts cheered tough truth, but haters carved it into evidence of chilled heart. Every line felt double-edged, slicing allies and critics alike. Money returned to focus with talk of real dollars and tight spending. Skeptics laughed, picturing luxury mansions while hearing claims of frugal life. Charity shields could not block barbs aimed at that contrast. Graphics of streaming payouts crawled across news tickers, refusing to vanish. Jam jars morphed into Trojan horses for fashion, beauty, and home goods. Critics insisted the Duchess sought not only pantries but closets and living rooms worldwide. Products set to bloom like wildfire, each stamped with her crest. Voices cried that one household cannot hold so many sectors without crushing smaller dreams. Yet supporters lined up, wallets ready, magnetized by glamour mixed with fairy tale glow. Children's clothing debate erupted again when monetization talk resurfaced. Privacy, please rang hollow next to planned season 2 shots of matching outfits. Comment writers claimed that tiny sleeves became billboards dressed as bedtime stories. The villain myth deepened as profit seemed to shadow every tender moment. Boundaries talk sharpened the blade. No question may cross the line. Journalists bristled, calling such walls an assault on public discourse. Fans countered with cheers for safety, but the clash grew hotter each time a reporter hit a locked door.